Hey friends, it's the week of the Kentucky Derby, and if you're having a Kentucky Derby party, you have got to make these traditional Benedictine tea sandwiches. These are ultra fancy, so grab your fanciest hats and I'll show you exactly how to make them. Now let's get started on the Benedictine spread. I'm going to show you the very traditional way, and it starts with 2 green onions chopped up, and then we need an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and you're going to want that softened, and then a half a cup of sour cream. And now to this, we are going to add a half a cup of cucumber. And I did use these mini cucumbers, but you could certainly use a regular sized cucumber. It doesn't matter. I used minis because I then cut them up for the topping. We'll just grate that into little pieces, and we only need a half a cup. And then the only seasonings you need to add to this is salt and pepper to taste. That's the traditional way. Now, if you want to jazz this up your own way, definitely go for it. I would suggest maybe a little ranch, definitely some dill, maybe a little garlic. I think you could spice this up a little bit more to make it even more flavorful, but this is the traditional way. Once we get that all stirred up, we're going to set it aside and let's get all of our veggies cut up. I'm going to go ahead with that cucumber and just slice it in thin slices. These little mini cucumbers are so pretty on tea sandwiches. And then I did use 1 green onion and sliced it up into tiny little pieces. I got some fresh dill, and you guys, this really fancies up these tea sandwiches. I cut little sprigs off of it, and it really does make a big difference. They are so pretty. And then I grated 1 carrot because that's a nice bright spring color. And then I got these radishes and I just sliced them very thin, and that brought a nice, fun, bright pop of color to these as well. I did do 1 little slice of red pepper for the color and a little bit of flavor. And then I found these fun colored cherry tomatoes. Now you could definitely just use red, that would work too, but I just sliced them in thin slices. Now let's set these aside and let's get our bread ready. Now I'm going to tell you about this egg. I love tea parties. I've been having tea parties for years, and I've been using this egg to cut my bread for years. If you happen to grab an Easter egg, save it. Put it in your kitchen supplies. It works perfect to cut this bread into circles. You could use a biscuit cutter, but they're going to be bigger. This is a great size. So first I'm going to take my white bread and just slice the crusts off and cut those in squares. Use a heartier white, like a country white or something. This is a bakery white bread because they didn't have the hearty white I wanted, but that's okay because this worked out just fine. You just don't want a really soft bread. You want it to be a little more textured. And then I cut some in squares, and then I used my fancy egg cutter and cut some out. And then I always say pumpernickel is my favorite. Try the pumpernickel. It's a beautiful color, and it doesn't have a very strong flavor. I think a rye would work. Any of your favorite breads that are more on the dry side and not too soft work perfect for this. Now get your fanciest plates and let's get these assembled. We're going to give a generous spread on here, and I'll speed this up so you can watch all of them being made quickly. And then I like to alternate the colors of bread just to make it nice and fancy, and I like to leave a lot of space on my plate because I think it looks really pretty that way too. And then just get creative. Make it your own. Try different things, different color combinations. You're going to have most of your flavor from that dip, so these veggies are just a nice little addition of pop of color with a tiny bit of flavor. And just like that, you have a beautiful plate full of tea sandwiches. That wasn't hard at all. Now I'm going to show you the more traditional way. This is how they made it back in the beginning of the 20th century. They just put on little squares of bread, just like little finger sandwiches. Some people did put a little garnish on top and some didn't, but this was the more traditional way, and I think these are really cute too. However, I do like the fun, colorful tea sandwiches a little bit better. I added a little bit of radish to this plate just to make it look pretty, and now let's finish up using our bread. You can make as many or as little of these as you want, depending on how many people are coming to your party, but I will say You should really not make these more than 30 minutes to an hour before the party because that dip with all that cucumber juice in it could really make your bread soggy. So don't make these too far in advance, but you can get everything cut up in advance and make them right before your guests arrive. And again, have fun with it. These are so fun. They're so cute. Just really make them your own and be creative. I don't think you could go wrong, especially with all these fun colors. And now here we go. Here's the final product. I would suggest putting these on different layers. You can put a bowl underneath them or a box just to get them at different levels, or you can have different size plates or even different color plates, just really to make these pop on your table. If you weren't planning to have a Kentucky Derby party, I hope this inspires you to. Even if you don't love horse races and you just like to have fun like my husband and I, go with the flow, do something fun, watch the race, make some sandwiches, go grab your fanciest hats, and just have a great time with it. Now, stay tuned because there's some behind the scenes footage. Now you noticed I didn't use all my veggies, right? And if you watch any of our videos, you know we have 3 of the cutest cats ever. But did you know we have another pet? We're gonna make this fancy bowl, fancy tea party minus the bread and dip for our little friend Ferris. He is our little 5-year-old guinea pig. We used to have 2. We had him and his brother, but sadly his brother did pass away, but we still have this guy, and he was very happy to finish the scraps from this tea party. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this video, subscribe, and come along with us on this crazy adventure.